The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527.
Traps for troubadours who get killed before they reach Bombay. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. But what is puzzling you is the nature of my game. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. But what is puzzling you is the nature of my game. Says every cop is a criminal, and all the sinners are saints. His heads, his tails, just call me Lucifer, 'cause I'm in need of some restraint. So if you meet me, have some courtesy, have some sympathy and some taste. Use all your well-earned politeness, or I'll lay your soul to waste. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. But what is puzzling you is the nature of my game. Oh, baby, get down to it.
Oh, Jules would love that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not gonna do that whole like. Yeah, I wish I could. The way this is written, the Mighty Quinn, I have to write it out because the way that it's in this thing, that's like one of my favorite Bob Dylan songs.
Oh, really? Yeah. His version or the popular version?
His version.
Really?
But again, like I'm like, oh, if he just did like certain things, like
If only
Like-
Bob did it the way I did it.
there's a reggae version that's fucking
really?
amazing. Yes.
Oh, I'd have to
Come
look
on around, come on with
Yeah.
it. Well, you'll not see nothing like the Mighty
That actually
Quinn.
makes a lot of sense to me.
Come on without, come on within. You'll not see nothing like the Mighty Quinn. Yeah. If I haven't done something in a while, I can never like. It's hard for me to get back to. Oh, well. Here's the one, wrong one. That's a good backup. Thank you. Made the song. No, not time of the season. Why do I keep on doing that? Now here, really getting into influences. My fingers are so fat. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to New York Island.
From Hicksville.
Yeah. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking a ribbon highway, I saw above me an endless skyway. I'm having a real hard time doing that chord right there. And that's the D7.
Those D7s.
D7. Oh yeah, and because I want to try to get Tweeter and the Monkey Man down because I fucking love that.
That's a great tune.
Tweeter and the Monkey Man were hard up for cash, so they stayed up all night selling cocaine and hash. To an undercover cop who had a sister named Jan. For reasons unexplained, she loved the Monkey Man. Yeah. Long as I remember the rain coming down, clouds of mystery pouring, confusion on the ground. Good man through the ages, trying to find the sun. And I wonder, still I wonder who'll stop the rain. I love CCR. I'm always trying to do a fucking John Fogerty impression pretty much every time I'm singing.
Oh, is that right?
I feel like at this part of my life I can hear it. One more. We'll do some Sam Cooke. Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about a French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be. Don't know much about geography. Don't know much trigonometry. Don't know much about the algebra. Don't know what a side rule is for, but I do know that 1 and 1 is 2. And if this one could be with you, what a wonderful world this could be. Now I don't claim to be an A student, but I'm trying to be. For maybe having an A student, baby, I could win your love for me. Don't know much about history, don't know much biology, don't know much about a science book, don't know much about the French I took. I can't get my hands around this, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be. La ta 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 ta, history, biology. La ta 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 ta, science books. French I took. But I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Would like to thank you and I hope we passed the audition.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Like there's like so many Beatles quotes I can do.
Hey there, this is Hershey from Hershey and the Geek Show, and it has come to my attention that another show on the Govs radio station is celebrating their 5-year anniversary this week. Rock'em Sock'em Comedy is Knock'em Dead Comedy. Knock'em Dead Comedy is celebrating their 5-year anniversary on Govs Radio. So from the Hershey and the Geek Show, I wanted to offer our sincerest congratulations to Tommy and the entire crew. Tony and the entire crew over at Knock'em Dead Comedy. We know that you guys have given over the years tens and tens of listeners and viewers the greatest amount of joy that you possibly could, and we wish you continued success, and we wanted to offer you our congratulations again, and keep on doing what you do, guys.
Happy anniversary, Knock'em Dead Comedy Show. Can't believe it's been years since you started, and here we are years later. So, by the way, you could keep using this every year. That was so anyway, thank you. Happy anniversary. Thank you for having me on as a guest, supporting local comics on Long Island, giving us a voice, giving us an outlet to, why is this guy staring at me? I'm in the Broadway Mall parking lot. You've never seen somebody. This is a cameo, fella. They paid me $350 to do this. I'm over here, good goosh. Not really. This cameo, though, I'll tell you, you got your money's worth, Tony, because usually I charge $350 when I'm working under the bridge. Thank you again for having me on. All of us that have been on, whether it's a one appearance, several appearances, like yours truly, people that call in, the people that watch the show, your engagement, all of us, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for making Knock'em Dead Comedy a thing on Govs Radio, and the support you've given all of us, and also the encouragement to us to, pursue possibly our own podcasts. So maybe the Will Sharon Show will come back to be continued. But anyway, it's not about me. It's about the $350 cameo you spent on this. Happy anniversary, and I will speak to you soon. Knock 'em dead.
5 years of the Knock'em Dead Comedy Show on Govs, man. 5 years, what a ride. A lot of people in and out, a lot of craziness. What the hell was that?
I was in and out. I was in and out.
Sally's here. She wants to. I asked her if she wanted to make a video. Actually, you know what? The truth is, New York girl. You know who that is. I'll tell you later. You forgot already. New York girl suggested that we get Sally on video because we talked about the 5-year anniversary.
New York girl?
I'll tell you after we get off the air.
I have no patience.
So we were talking on the show the other day about how it's the 5 years are coming up, and it was suggested that you. Well, I was saying, you know, we would get maybe people that have been on the show in the past to come in and hang out. And I said, I would love to have Sally come, but she has a full-time job. She would never be able to come in. So New York girl said, we'll get a video of her. So I just asked Sally just now if she wanted to do a video.
I said, heck yeah.
So there she is. There's Sally.
No, I said, I don't know, do I look stupid?
And I said, no. I'm going to say thank you. For most of the 5 years, Sally was with us. And the show was good as it was mainly for you.
No, come on.
And I thank you. And
5 years, that's a long time.
It is, yeah. I'm the only idiot that's still going. Everybody else smartened up and moved on.
Idiot for 5 years.
Thank you for being a big part of it. And I'm glad we could be here now.
Yeah.
And have a laugh.
Yeah.
And thank you guys. And I'll shut up now and let you say what.
Oh, I have to say
Did you
something?
want? You don't have to if you don't
Oh,
want.
yeah. Congratulations to Knock 'em Dead Comedy for sticking it out for 5 long years. Sometimes, actually, when I think about it, when I think about all the people we interviewed, like I'll be talking to people and I'm like, oh yeah, we interviewed some guy from Chicago. Oh yeah, it's
the band Chicago, yes.
You know?
Oh yeah, members of the band Chicago, members of the Sopranos.
We've had some pretty freaking cool interviews.
We've had some cool interviews. We've just had good times, whether they're big time interviews or just friends, whoever. Just a lot of great times.
We had a lot of people that have like stuck with us because I don't know if I would want to listen to us, and they did. So thank you for supporting us always.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And we talk about you a lot. We miss you. And again, thank you for being there for the bulk of 5 years. As for the show itself, I hope I can carry it. I'd like to carry it. I'd like to keep it going. So thank all you guys for everything. Hi. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast Twitch channel. There's a lot of words and names going on there. Hope you enjoyed the little serenade. I was going to say the little serenation. Is that a word?
Are we on?
Please share the show on all your social media pages. That was Andy playing the guitar. That was an hour ago, and I just felt like recording it, and I was like, "Screw it, I'm going to play it."
An hour ago? It felt like hours ago.
It was an hour ago.
Right.
And I think should we?
If you'd like.
I'm
cool
don't
with it.
actually, but
Get it over.
we got time today.
He's not listening.
Hello.
Hello, Tony. Congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations. What are you congratulating me for?
I saw the video.
Oh, you saw the video with Sally?
Yep.
Yep, we're celebrating 5 years on the air, and you've been watching what, maybe 3 or 4 years out of those 5?
No, there's not actually been 6 actually.
6.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Well, that's great. Thanks for that. What
How
are
you
you
been, Tony? Actually, how you been, bud?
doing? All right. Doing all right there, DJ. What are you doing today?
Nothing much relaxing. I'm going out later to Dunkin' Donuts later.
Oh, so where are you now?
Donkeys.
I'm just home and just chilling right now.
Oh, it kind of sounds like he's in a car, doesn't it?
I don't
Nah,
know.
I got my AC on. That's why you hear it.
Sounds like he's in his sex dungeon.
So the concert is mid-June.
Right. Yeah. So right, but you don't know exactly what day yet, right?
No, I have no idea yet, Tony.
All right. DJ D Love's going to be performing at Jones Beach sometime in June, and we're going to be there and support.
Yep, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, of course it will. Looking forward to that. So all right, so keep us updated.
I definitely will. You know what I mean?
All right, sounds good.
So I checked earlier. You didn't cut me off like that. Why did you cut me off like that? I want to start this weekend off right. You know what I mean?
All right, well then, all right, sing us a song and start our weekend off right.
All right, we're gonna start this song. We're gonna start the weekend right.
Okay.
This is a song about the concert. Here we go. Yo, my name is DJ D-Love. Come on and join Beats to see me. I don't care, man. I'm gonna do the show. I'm gonna give me a phenomenal show. DJ D-Love will be on the stage. Come on, let's get autographs. That's what my name is. You know what I'm saying? DJ D-Love will be on the stage and watch him perform because, you know what I'm saying? I'm the best DJ in the world. And let me tell you, homies, I got another gig to go next week too. I got another gig to go next week again. Let me tell you, I don't care what everybody says because my name is DJ D-Love. I got another gig to go next Friday, and guess what? I'm making some more money, but guess what? That was my last gig to do, you know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Yeah, what's up, boys? My name is DJ D-Love. What's up, homies?
DJ Love! Nice job.
I gotta say one more thing. I want everybody write in the comments and say, what's up, homies? That's my new saying now.
That's the new saying. Yeah, Suckers is out, and it's What's Up, Homies?
Yep. See there, homies?
See ya, homies. There you go.
homie.
There you go. DJ D-Love checking in. Very nice. Fremder is such a racist. Oh, my goodness. So are you performing tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm at Red Zone in Babylon.
Very
West
nice.
Babylon.
It's an Aragona show?
Yes. And it's, I love that place. It's really the best wings. They have, like, phenomenal wings.
You know, maybe it was you. I've heard that before.
Yeah. No, not just me. It's anybody who goes there.
Yeah, okay.
Anybody who has the wings. It's amazing. And it used to be a strip club.
Yes.
So it still
well,
has.
so I heard.
Yeah, we were.
As I see my mother's watching, so I'm like, yes, I've heard that.
Billy and I were talking on the phone yesterday, and like he's headlining.
Oh, nice.
At Red Zone, and so he's trying to think of like different roast jokes and everything for the place and for all the people there and for the people on the show, and we were vibing out that like it's like that it's haunted by strippers. Like we're trying to come up with like a whole thing. So if you want to see the finished product, come out tomorrow.
Nice. Tomorrow night at the Red Zone.
So, like there's so many dead strippers that are buried in the parking lot there that it's like Poltergeist. Steven Spielberg wants to make a movie out of it.
Very nice.
Step up to the pole, Carol Ann.
All right, so let's see what do we got. All right. First thing I'll get to, I saw Bert Kreischer.
Oh yeah.
He's so his stand-up. Bert Kreischer. If you don't know who Bert Kreischer is, he's a stand-up comedian.
Party machine. He's the machine.
The Machine, right? And now he's got a movie coming out called The Machine. Have you seen the trailer?
I have not.
Do you know anything about it?
No, I know the story. I know why he's called the machine and whatnot. But
Right. So that's the thing. I find it like his comedy is decent. It's all right.
yeah, no, he's a storyteller, and I mean that's hard. But he's I mean they're great. They're crazy stories. And from what I understand, he's also the basis or part of the basis for the character Van Wilder. If you remember National Lampoon's Van Wilder.
Yeah.
And there was even a second one, but it's
I didn't know that.
It's partially based on Bert Kreischer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's, but probably the only thing he's kind of known for is his story with the Russian mob. So apparently, back in the '90s when he was in college, he took Russian, as a foreign language.
Because he went to school for like 9 years or something.
Yeah, I think it was 7 to be exact. Yeah, he was not a good student, and he had no direction.
He was partying.
Yeah, and he went to Russia with his class, and again, he swears this is true. Nobody's really ever really checked it, as far as I know.
Oh, I don't know.
But he says that when his class went to Russia, the teacher set it up where their chaperone would be the Russian mob.
Well, that you like, there are other countries. I knew somebody who taught down in Honduras. Taught school, like in Spanish language, like she's fluent. And she had a armed guard with her at all
Oh,
at
okay.
all times that she was outside of the residence and the school.
Wow.
And the only reason that there was not an armed guard with her was because there were armed guards around the residence and around the school.
Wow.
So it's not so far afield to that,
Right.
that they would hire security. Now,
Well, hire
hiring the
security.
right?
Right.
Hiring the Russian mafia.
Right. And he says that the class was told you don't talk to them, you don't look at them
Right.
because it's the mafia. You just. But sure enough, he swears from the moment he got off the plane that the mob guys just took to him and he hit it off with them, and they were going on binges and drinking all the time, and and he just hit it off with these guys. So he was spending all of his time with them.
Right.
And then he's on a train with them, and they had him rob every single person that were on the that was on the train, including his own classmates. And then the cops were called, and he swears the mafia went to the cops and told them to just go screw off, and you don't bother with this. And then the cops went to him and like, oh, it's an honor to meet the machine.
Right.
Apparently that was the only, or the very, even though he took Russian for 4 semesters, he knew he could only speak like 2 sentences, and
Right.
I am the machine was one of the sentences. So he became the machine, and they loved him over there, and he became some kind of legend. And now they've made a movie about it. The movie's called The Machine. So I'm actually thinking, I saw the trailer, okay, and I thought of you immediately. Well, first off, I'm going to say, if this guy's already making a movie about this
I can't believe you weren't already thinking about me.
Well, maybe I was,
that it
maybe I
made
wasn't.
you think of me.
Maybe I was, maybe
You
I
should have already been thinking about me.
So I'm thinking this guy's 15 minutes are almost up.
Okay.
And why not cash in on them and make
He's
a
got
movie?
a great podcast.
Oh, does he? All
Yeah.
right. So maybe he's good for him. I hope he keeps going then. The movie the whole movie is based on this story. So it kind of looked like it might be stupid. Looked like there were some funny parts. But the sole reason that I'll go see this, and I know it'll be the sole reason you see this, is that his father is in the movie. Not the actual man, but
Right.
the character of his father is in this. And from the look of the trailer, it looks like he has a pretty prominent role in this thing. And it looks like a very funny role. There's scenes where he's like partying with strippers and stuff.
This better be Don Sill.
Almost as good. It's Mark Hamill.
Oh, kick ass. Nice. Yeah.
There it is. So Mark Hamill is a very funny man.
He is. No, check out his Twitter. Oh, I don't know if he's still on Twitter or whatever, but any
He
of his
is.
social medias and whatnot, because
He can get a little political, but he's funny.
He's hilarious. He
Yeah.
just it's so funny to as a kid. You had Star Wars and fucking Luke Skywalker, and then his career got derailed from that Corvette accident.
Right.
But then, as a geek, him being the voice of the Joker on Batman the Animated Series all throughout the late '80s into the '90s.
Yep.
That they always said don't meet your heroes or anything. But this guy, the more you find out about him, the funnier he fucking is.
Yep.
He's just. He seems like a super cool dude, and people I know who have run into him at conventions and whatnot, they're like, "Yeah, no, he has time for everybody."
Oh, that's cool.
There is nobody that he won't.
Which is why I think his career kind of being derailed a little bit was a good thing.
Right, it made him probably a better person.
That's
over
exactly what I'm thinking.
Very likely.
And I remember in the mid-'90s, I don't remember which Howard Stern special it was. It was one of those pay-per-view or home video things. And he... And Mark Hamill was there. He was like a judge for something. I forget what they were doing. But I remember the crowd went nuts because that was at that time, this is, early 90s. There were no Star Wars being made at that time.
Was, at that time, the buzz was they have to make... did you hear they want to make the prequels?
Right.
That was
Right.
when... Yeah.
It might have even been before that. He was completely
Within
off the radar.
Within the geek community, it was
it
was known in the late 80s, early 90s that... if there were going to be any more Star Wars movies, they were going to be the prequels.
Right, okay.
Because he had written it all out.
Right, yes.
So
Yes,
they
true.
were not going to jump into new territory. They were gonna
Right.
do the prequel.
But Hamill was so far off the radar as far as the mainstream, as far as being on TV. Like he wasn't in any movies. So to see him, like it was just like this crowd was like, holy shit! Like they almost like they forgot about him. Like oh yeah, this guy is great. And the way he just kind of did one of these to the crowd, it was like it was so cool.
Right.
And then then of course he's made a little bit of a comeback through Star Wars, but he's not known for doing something comedic. He's just not known. In fact, the only comedic thing I can think of is was it Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where he was in that one.
Right.
That's the only other comedy thing that I can think of with him. But he looks like he could be like the scene stealer in this movie. He looks like he really does a funny job. The movie, like I said, it's like and the story, whether it's true or not, is so far fetched and so weird, and I just don't know if it's a whole movie. So I'm wondering if it's going to be stupid, but the fact that it's Mark Hamill that makes me want to see it.
So I think the last comedy movie that was like an original that was amazing was God damn it was Eric Andre and Lil Rel were in basically it parodied a ton of these 80s movies.
These like, cop buddy movies?
Well, no, more of him going on like a road trip to like find the girl of his dreams.
Right, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like there was a License to Drive. Mm-hmm. A bunch. Wow. There were a bunch that came out around the same time.
Yeah.
That were like, I have to transport this car across the country, and I keep running into the girl of my dreams, and like blah blah blah, whatever. The stupid '80s fucking premises. But that's. It was amazing, and it was like, it was partially scripted, partially his playing pranks on people.
Right.
It is fucking hilarious. Like it opens with him. He works at a car wash or car detailing place because he's vacuuming cars, and this guy pulls in. And he starts and he starts vacuuming the guy's car, and he has it worked out that the vacuum sucks his entire jumpsuit off, and he's just naked, and he's trying to get the guy to help. Fucking hilarious. And then they do a bunch of things all the way up. They start in Florida and they're going all the way to New York City.
Okay.
So it's a great buddy road trip parody movie. It's fantastic. But I was thinking about it the other day. It's just very hard to make like comedies now. Like it just doesn't seem like anybody's getting it right. Or
right, and that's what I'm thinking with this movie. To me, To me, you're talking about pranks. To me, this looks like this could be it might possibly be like the Jerky Boys movie, which was not.
I never
good.
saw it. I
you
didn't
never
want
saw
to say it. No.
Yeah,
prank calls. I think I've told you before what the prank calling that my brother and I would do.
Yes,
I'm farting. We'd say to the operator. We'd call the operator. I'm farting. I'm sending a cop over there. We'd fucking run like hell to the other side of the shopping center.
Well, the movie wasn't really. But that's the thing. The movie wasn't. They didn't do real pranks in the movie.
Well, I wasn't really into them to begin with. So it's like, oh, now you're going to make a movie? Great. I'm not going to see that either.
Right. Well, but that's the thing. The movie, because and that's what I mean with your 15 minutes. Like these guys, how long are you going to, do pranks where you're not going to make a career out of it? Fine. They made a few albums. I think it's like the first one was a smash. The rest of them kind of blew.
Yeah.
And they,
like I remember friends of mine actually like playing.
I played it all the time. I loved it.
We'd jump in a car and some people like, oh, Jerky Boys.
Yep.
Throw the cassette tape in there.
Right.
And you'd be like, oh yeah, that is funny, but not super funny.
Right, but you listen to it once, twice maybe, and then you're like, then you need a break from it. Like these guys were not going to build a career out of it, and then they make this movie, which again they're cashing in on it. Alan Arkin was in it.
Oh, really?
And it's actually the same thing. They get involved with the mob somehow, and they get in trouble, and the mob's chasing them. I mean, but then they try to recreate their pranks like as ways of getting out of trouble in certain scenes. Like it was just bad. And even look at them. The one guy eventually stopped and went opted for a normal life, and you don't see him anymore.
Right.
The other guy, Johnny Brennan, who does an intro for this show, he does voiceovers now and is on Family Guy. So he basically became an actor. Because you can't ride. You can't. So I think it's going to be the same thing with this guy. He's riding a wave right now, and good for him. And hopefully he's making a lot of money doing it.
That story's been out for like that. I would. God, it's got to be at least 5 years.
Oh,
more
sure.
than 5 years that he's been doing that in his act.
Right.
So I can't imagine. I think the iron is cold at this point with that. I if anything, it's a bad idea to make it because there's no buzz anymore. Like if this movie came out 5 years ago, maybe you might have gotten some traction.
It's hard to say because we pay attention to the comedy world. I think people on the outside who don't watch comedy have no idea who he is or his story.
You know what? That is kind of funny. And even I say to my daughters all the time, like back in the day, the way music was, the music scenes were, like you did have to know somebody who was like in the know and was really had their finger on the pulse of things that were going on.
Right.
And that made it so that basically top 40 radio, everybody heard top 40 radio. So the songs that were big were big everywhere. Harry Styles. I now have heard a few Harry Styles songs because of my wife having the Echo Dot play Harry Styles music. And I'm like, oh, this is really good. But shit's been out for a while. Right. I'm like, I'm just getting to it. And I know part of that is a function of being older and whatnot. But unless you're, top 40 radio doesn't really exist it just doesn't.
Right.
Exist
No,
anymore.
you're absolutely right.
And kids are not listening to radio; they're listening to Spotify and any other streaming kind of thing.
Right.
So how are you getting their I guess there's algorithms, and I imagine that record companies or artists pay into the streaming companies to have their algorithm pick up these songs and dump them into people's listening. Like
that'd be my guess. Yeah.
It's almost like payola.
Payola all over. History repeating itself. Yeah. Absolutely.
But with computers being the DJs.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of feel bad for them because you wouldn't necessarily hear like some underground band until you got into a position where you ran into somebody who was a huge fan or had heard them or whatever. That's I say, like, I feel so bad for my daughters and for all kids that when I was a kid, like you'd show up at where your friends worked on a Friday. Like, there was a stationery store that the drummer in the band I was in that he worked at.
Yeah. And
we would go and be like, yo, what's up? And everybody kind of assemble there. We'd walk across the street to Taco Bell and the whole time going, does anybody know what we're going to do tonight? And you would just be like, oh, I heard, in Miller Place, there's some hardcore band that so-and-so is into. And I don't know, you guys want to go to that? Yeah. All right. There's probably going to be chicks there. And you would go to some basement at a McMansion, and there's just like everything's painted black, and it's just like loud, and there's too many people. Mosh pit, the whole thing is a fucking mosh pit. And you'd meet different people, and made friendships, and hooked up with chicks, and then you would just, I don't know, it was like, this is my nostalgia of sort of like getting into like on a kind of an adventure. And I just don't think that there's opportunities for kids to get into adventures.
I'll give you that. Not opportunities. There's no opportunities to get into adventures, but everything else you talked about, like meeting somebody, and this one said, check out this band, and that stuff I think is still going on. It's just done differently. They're doing it from their computers, on their headsets, talking to each other.
But that's what
or texting each other.
I actually really mean like physically being with people.
Right.
And like getting to know, because there was a buddy of mine who's just, and I love him to death to this day, but he was such an asshole. But he was super into hardcore music. And like, he knew every band. And there, I can't tell you how many times he's like, hey, you guys want to go to the Beacon, or you guys want to go wherever in the city to go check out this hardcore? And we'd be like, no, I don't like hardcore music. It's fucking like it's just noise to me. It really, really is. Oh, all right, fuck you guys. And like, but like then like 6 months later, you'd hear about this, like, oh my God, this is like the biggest band. We could have went with Jay and watched them, but we didn't because fuck hardcore music. But they're big now, and oh my God, okay, this is a radio playable song that they have, and it's pretty kick-ass.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't want to be in a basement listening to these guys because the sound was always terrible, and like I'm pretty sure that I can't hear anymore because of those situations. And coffee houses, singer-songwriters, somebody playing a song and being like, going up to them afterwards and being like, is that your song? And they'd be like, oh no, it's not. It's the only cover I do. It's by so and so. And you're like, I gotta go check them out.
Right.
But you had that the human interaction.
Yeah, but even that, they're the human interaction, no argument. They're not getting that like we had. But the rest of it, they'll go on YouTube and see somebody covering a song and be like, oh, let me go check that song.
But see, the human interaction part was also like...
I agree 100%.
It would be some chick who was up there, and you go up and be like, you were amazing, and this one song, and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, it's 15 minutes later, and you're making out in the back of her car in the parking lot.
Right.
Like, that can't happen if you're sitting there on a computer.
The movie High Fidelity?
Love the High Fidelity.
That was my 20s.
Right.
My buddy owned a CD shop. That was like my Cheers.
Right.
I hung out there constantly. Me and another guy that worked there, we like between the two of us, we were the Jack Black character. Like the guy's name is Rob, and that's actually his character's name in the movie was Rob. So we're like, holy shit! Like we always talk.
I'm still in touch. Pointed at it.
I'm still in touch with these guys. We're like, holy shit, that's us.
Right.
But yeah. So and I'm with you. We used to have bands that came in. What was the name of that one band? Hey Man, Nice Shot. You remember that?
Oh, Filter.
They came in.
That was actually playing when I first started to go get my vaccine in the city.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And I took a picture of it.
They came in. Our Lady Peace came in. I don't know if you remember them.
Well, at Filter, and the main guy in Filter was used to be in 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, is that right?
He was originally in 9 Inch Nails. So
okay.
You missed out on an opportunity.
Am I getting the right band? I mean, because this CD shop closed in '96. So was Filter around that long ago?
No, absolutely.
9 Inch Nails was around that long ago?
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah?
80s is when 9 Inch Nails started.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's all a blur to
me. They got really big in the early 90s. That was
really? It's been that long, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I think I was still in high school when... the one, I want to fuck you like an animal. I think that came out when I was in high school.
Wow. See, that's how old I am. I still look at 9 Inch Nails like a new band.
Meanwhile, they had started even before you had graduated high school.
Probably. The main filter is that mustache, says Fremder. How many cups of coffee can you bring out with that mustache? New York Girl is watching. Hello, New York Girl. Thanks for watching, everyone. And speaking of Johnny Brennan, like I said, he does an intro here. We're celebrating our 5th anniversary here at the Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show. And I was talking, Eric Skjeveland made a return yesterday, his first time in here since he left the show. It's been 3 years since he left. Again, time flies. So this show's been around longer than he was even here. And I think most of our viewers weren't even watching at the time he was here.
No, I don't think so.
But I was talking to him. I forgot to bring it up yesterday on the show, but I was talking to him Wednesday, because Wednesday nights is when we rehearse the murder mystery stuff. And somehow Johnny Brennan came up in conversation, or the Jerky Boys. And I said to him, somehow they came up, and Eric's like, oh, yeah, I'm a big Jerky Boys fan, and I love Johnny Brennan on Family Guy. And I'm like, well, I said, there must have been a big thrill then when we talked to him. And he just stops and looks at me. I go, what? He goes, what do you mean when we talked to him? He goes, we met him? I said, well, we didn't meet him. I said, he called in. I said, he called into our show. We interviewed him. He has no recollection of it.
I'm going to have to take a diabetes break here. I don't know
okay.
why I have to pee.
Who
knows what time it is, because
I know our clock
it's already on daylight
savings. It's right here. So it's 11:45. So you peed an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, I know. And it's just like... It
came out of nowhere.
Like a bolt of fucking lightning.
So then stop talking.
So thank you for licking my penis and making sure I didn't pee.
Well, you were pointing.
I'm not like spotting or something. Thank you. Because now I'm not embarrassed at all.
Somebody get this man a diaper.
Yeah, no, I really need one.
I was watching, but I wasn't making comments at the time. You should bring him back. Yeah, I'd love to bring him back. Speaking of bringing people back, we brought Eric back yesterday to commemorate the 5th anniversary. And if you guys watched at the beginning of the show, I hope you enjoyed. There was a nice video from Sally. It was nice to get a video from her. And I was happy to be there. It was good to see her. And we have Chris Monty is going to be on the show next week. Chris is always a good friend of the show. Jackson Gillies is going to be Zooming with us one day next week. Jackson Gillies, as you recall, was a contestant on American Idol. And then we had him on the show here, and he's been either Zoomed or in person several times. So, but it's been a while, so that'll be fun to catch up with him. So, Richie Byrne is coming in next week. Chuck Fox is coming in on Tuesday. You're actually running down the hallway.
Embarrassed.
You're fine.
No, I tried to actually spray. I tried to spray some water on there so it would look like I did have.
Oh, Gina said she missed the Sally video. All right. Well, you know what? I'll post it. I'll post it later. Or maybe you know what? Maybe I'll play it again.
After. Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. I'll take all the videos. So we had Hirschman's video. Will Sharon sent us a video that we played at the beginning of the show. Oh, in his video, he hints that he might want to bring the Will Sharon show back.
Ooh.
Will Sharon used to have a show in here. You guys probably don't even know that either.
I never had watched it. I knew that he had the show.
Will Sharon is great, very funny guy, but he hinted at bringing it back. Yeah, so Hirschman did a video, Will Sharon, and then Sally and I did a video. So Sally wanted to say hi to everybody. So I'll play the Sally one again at the end of the show. I'll play that again. But I'm going to post all the videos as well. Richie Burns coming in next week. He will be here on Tuesday for Tuesday Trivia. Chuck Fox is going to join us on Tuesday for trivia.
Oh, cool.
I mentioned him. Chris Monty's doing the show next week. Jackson Gillies. So so we have several people coming in to help us commemorate our 5th anniversary, which is actually this Sunday, the 12th, is 5 years. And I tried to talk about it yesterday, but too many people.
Yeah.
It was a fun show, but
too many cooks.
Yeah, exactly.
Too many cocks.
But and I want to thank all those guys for coming in yesterday. I want to thank you for coming in every Friday. Because this show wouldn't exist without the support of
you goddamn
all the
right
guys.
it would.
Oh, fucking A. And it's just nice because it's really developed the show. It's developed the station because a lot of the shows here, we're all just a big group of friends.
Right.
And it's really worked out really nice, and I'm very appreciative. And it's led to, friendships. It's led to a lot of fun. It's led to some great shows.
And some side things that we all did that are pretty funny that
Comic Sans.
Comic Sans, definitely the backbone of Comic Sans.
Right. For us, it's now Jeff is a part of Knock 'em Dead Comedy, doing the murder mysteries, and even geeking out, which we often do. It's given us the opportunity to talk to certain people.
God, yeah.
Regardless of the level, these are people I want to talk to. Like everybody that was in here yesterday. I love talking to those guys. I love talking to you. I also, but it's nice to say we talked to Kevin Pollak.
Because I still that is still so trippy to me. Because it was that was amazing. Because I think back to me being a teenager, watching his specials.
Yeah.
And just being like this guy, and he was like one of my, because I did a lot of impressions back in the day, and so Kevin Pollak is an amazing impressionist, and
great actor,
and that's why I said at the time, like, is there anybody else who's top 100 stand-up of all time and top 100 actor of all time? Robin Williams,
right?
And that's it. It's Robin Williams,
Eddie Murphy,
Kevin Pollak, Eddie Murphy. But with Eddie Murphy, you're talking about the GOAT. Mm-hmm. So you're welcome, Nigel. But
that was actually a top fives. Don did that.
Oh yeah,
comedians that made a good crossover.
Yeah, but made a good crossover. But like to really be like an Oscar like next level
Right.
actor, and Eddie Murphy. I don't know if I've seen that from him to be like an Oscar type, like a really a dramatic role. He's a fantastic comic actor, one of the greatest, if not the.
Yeah, but I would say there's been some dramatic moments and some. I would say Dreamgirls is kind of. I wouldn't say that's a comedy.
No, and I've never seen that.
He won some award for that.
Did he?
I forget what award he won for that.
So that one definitely escaped me. But like, I mean, Ken Pollak.
Yeah, right.
And Robin Williams, like the some of the stuff that they have done that is like gritty, real shit.
Would you, well, all right. Well, you know what? Before I even ask, but there's Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, sure, yeah.
But then I was going to ask, what about Cosby?
No, because Cosby's not a great actor. Cosby is not a great actor.
You don't think he's a good actor?
No. He's serviceable. Like, it's all about the writing. It's not about any of the delivery or any of that.
Yes, and that would be the case based on all of the popular things he's done, like the Cosby Show and whatnot.
Right? Are you going to break out Leonard Part 6 or something?
No, I'm going to break out.
Leonard. I do love Leonard.
Oh, really?
Part 6.
I don't even remember it, but I remember not liking it.
Oh,
I can't remember the name of the movie right now, but I thought he did a super acting job in what's the movie he did with Sidney Poitier? What's the movie they did together? Which I thought was a pretty good movie, and I thought his acting was great in it. And it wasn't his usual goofy face-making.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I can't remember.
What the hell's the name of that movie? That's going to drive me nuts.
It's not going to drive me nuts, but I don't think that like his acting is very much like his stand-up.
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's not the case in this movie.
There's like a reality that it's based in reality kind of thing, but
oh, they made more than one movie together? Shit, I didn't even know that.
I Spy.
They made a piece of the action, which I'd never heard of. The, Uptown Saturday Night. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, well, see, Piece of the Action is the one that I would have.
Let's Do It Again is the name of another with the two of them and Jimmy Walker.
Dynamite.
Yeah. Jimmy Walker, when they made that movie Comedian with Robert De Niro, did you ever see that? They filmed it in here. And Jimmy Walker's in the opening scene.
Nice.
I had no story with that. That's all. Oh, and De Niro in that movie, he playing a stand-up comedian, his trainer, I guess, behind the scenes in the movie to teach him how to do things as a stand-up, our good friend Jessica Kirson. I think she
showed up for that.
Yeah, that's the one time she showed up at Governor's. Yeah.
I don't even know the lady.
Yeah, well, I barely know her, but yeah. And I know Reda had a big thrill when we talked to Bill Champlin, who used to be in the band Chicago. He got a thrill out of that. What?
This is so fucking lame.
No, that was cool.
I'm just kidding. Funny.
Ray Abruzzo, who played Little Carmine in The Sopranos, I had no idea the guy would be as much fun as he was when we interviewed him. Kerry Godliman, who's a great comedian, plays Ricky Gervais's wife in Afterlife.
Oh, right.
And she was also in Derek. Remember that other series he had, Derek? It was in between. It was after The Office.
Yeah.
Derek was like some kind of special needs guy.
Yeah.
And she was one of the nurses on there. And a great comedian. And I think she's kind of like a bigger deal in England. But she's very funny. So we had a chance to talk to her. Paul Mercurio, who does warm-up and writes on Colbert. And once in a while you'll see him on there. He was on early on when we, so we started in 2018. He was one of our early on guests. And he was comparing something, I forget what it was, but he was comparing something to he was, that's like being a one-legged person, and we were like, and we had to tell him, well, one of us here in the studio is one-legged, and he couldn't believe it, and he was so embarrassed, and he was playing here, so I showed up at the club that night, and Paul does this thing. In fact, he had a off-Broadway show with it after a while, where he calls people on stage, and he'll just talk to them, and I personally love it. it doesn't go over well as I wish it would, because
Right.
I'm a big fan of that type of comedy, and I thought he did it pretty well, but yeah, so he was calling people up, and he called me up, and he had no idea, and so I woke up and we started talking. Finally, I said, we have spoken before. He's like, oh, really? And I go, yeah, actually earlier today. And then all of a sudden you see his face is lit up. He goes, oh, are you the one-legged guy? And this is actually one of the times I'm like, maybe I should do stand-up, because when he said it, I then flipped the leg, and the place erupted. So I'm like, oh, this could be pretty cool. So
that was the moment.
One of the moments where I was like,
Flipping the leg.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like, that's all I got out there, man. I'm not funny otherwise. I'm like a prop comic.
I don't have to carry my prop separate.
Exactly.
Hilarious.
And I was trying to find out yesterday with Eric, because Eric had, did I leave it? No, it's not here. Well, Eric used to keep notes.
Right.
After every show, he used to write down. So I had him try to find out who our very first guest was, but of course he, I don't know, was talking about his hair product or something. He moved on to other things.
Me. Nothing about guests. I guess we didn't have any.
A guest that talked to me. I think it was James Goff, comedian James Goff, very funny guy. I don't know if he's still doing it.
Oh, wow.
I know he had an issue here with an audience member, and then you haven't really seen him around here after that. But I don't see his name at all.
Right.
So I don't know if he's still out there doing it. I hope he is, because he's great. But he was one of our first guests. I think, if I remember right, our first high-profile guest was Ben Bailey from Cash Cab.
Fucking A.
He called in. He was great.
Right.
I think he was the one. I'm not positive. Bonnie McFarlane, who was Rich Voss's wife, she was one of our early
Very
call-ins.
funny.
Vic DiBattista was one of our early ones.
Very funny.
Adam Ferrara, I remember he called in once, and him and Eric got into this big, long conversation about football. They talked for like a half hour just on football.
The only time I've ever spoken to Adam Ferrara was me and Billy went to McGuire's, because Fat Jay was either hosting or featuring or something for Adam Ferrara. So we went wherever we went there, and then we went somewhere afterwards. But we were there and we're smoking in the parking lot. And I forget what Adam Ferrara said to us as he just passed by, but it was sort of like a glad things haven't changed kind of thing.
As he reached to take one?
Yeah. Well, we were like, hey, man, you want to jump in on this? Oh, no, I got to get home. I got to go. But he was very like,
really
it
nice
just was
guy.
like a nut, like he was able to it's one of those things. And I have such respect. Rich Walker kind of has this vibe also of being able to kind of make fun of you in the moment. But it's such a
yes, in a nice, funny way,
just like very an endearing way that you feel like almost special that they took out the time in their day to kind of fuck with you, and you're like, oh, that was awesome.
I think honestly, and as weird as this may sound, I think it also has to do with their face. Both of them have a friendly face.
Fucking phrenology, like the bumps on their heads. If you examine them.
The way Rich Walker puts on that lip balm.
Well, like it's funny because I played you that recording thing about names and like what they sound like and if that affects people's brains.
Which is a great bit. Great idea for me.
Right. From your lips to God's ears. But it is like my brother once said something to me when I was like 20 and I'm like talking about this guy. I'm like, fuck this guy. And my brother goes, yeah, he looks like the kind of person you don't like. And that's been
that makes total sense to me.
That has been in my head since he said that to me. That I'm like, do I have a type of people that I don't like?
Oh, I certainly do.
They look.
Yeah,
and, resting bitch face being what it is. But here's the thing: I love bitches because bitches get shit done. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody, like Carla, like. We're not as close. We're not particularly close. There's some there've been things that I don't agree with her about or whatever, but I tend to the side of bitch because they are like I don't know. They just get shit done. Like they're just able to fucking do things, and they're nice. ladies, the girl I had a crush on in high school, I would tell my female friends, like, oh, I love her. And they're like, Andy, please don't like her, because she's a horrible human being. And you're a really nice guy. And I'm like, maybe that's what I like. I don't like being treated like an asshole.
Right.
Like that part, like if they, but like usually bitches like me too. Because I
Bitches
think
like me.
because I show appreciation to like, yeah, no, you just don't take any shit. I get it. Like I do. I take shit all the time. So maybe it's like a jealousy kind of fantasy kind of thing. I wish I could be like that. Only with my penis.
Well, yeah, when you said you show your appreciation, that was...
Yeah.
But bitches usually don't really even want that.
No, and that's what, like, like in high school and everything, there was this girl, Tony Napolitano, who when she got married, Tony Ann Napolitano, got married to this guy, Steve Danza. And we were out, and when she announced it to a group of my friends, we were at this bar that I was working at in Smithtown, and she's like, oh, Steve asked me to marry him. And my friend Tracy goes, wait a second. Your name's going to be Tony Danza now? And it hadn't occurred to any of us except for and by my friend Tony, she was like, oh, yeah, that is something that is going to happen.
Tony Ann, is she short?
Yeah.
Brown hair? Well, yeah, okay.
Jesus Christ, Tony. Tony Napolitano, she is great.
Is that definitely her? You got the last name right?
That is her maiden name, is Napolitano. Her, she had a older sister that was like my brother's age.
What was her name?
Tina.
Wasn't Teresa?
There might have been, because there's other two sisters, and so it could be.
There's two more sisters? No, okay. No, the girl I know only has one sister. But it's Teresa, not Tina.
How do you know?
But that's not the last name either, but it sounds similar.
Why do we have to do this like this? Okay, Tony, we could have fucking talked about this before.
Well, speaking of comedians, and we're here at a comedy club, one thing that we...
That's Tony Napolitano.
That's Tony Danza. No. No. She's cute, though.
But she was a bitch, is why I bring her up.
Yeah.
But, like... she cops to it, and she goes, and I saw it, like, when we all reconnected later on, she's like, I'm really sorry that I was kind of a bitch. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You defended us more. Like, most of, like, the guys who, the dirtbags, burnouts would be smoking out back, and if there was, like, a big badass biker type dude, and, like, hey, you, give me your fucking money, or whatever, Tony would be like, get the fuck out of his face. Like she was like a fucking bulldog. And it was so good. She was like she's the older sister you wanted, who just was like just had your back no matter what.
We had in my senior year of high school, we hosted a lip sync contest, because this is 1988. That was lip sync. Was
that was huge. Air bands and lip sync, because that's my brother. His suggestion for one of his friends' church youth group, was to have a air band off,
right?
Like a competition.
Yeah.
So
we had that in high school. So, like, you do shows in high school, the plays and whatnot, and it's all the same kids, the drama club and whatnot. But so the lip sync contest was not your usual stage people,
right?
And we had it got out of control. It got bad out of control, like mosh, like this right there in the high school auditorium, moshing and excuse me, craziness.
Said that like an old Jewish man with the moshing,
and the craziness.
Mittens.
And it got to the point where like we didn't even know, like, people couldn't really hear what was going on, and nobody knew who won at the end, and it was really kind of bad. And when we said that the night was over, they took it into the lobby, and they were just like, just throwing each other around. It was madness.
Wow.
And I was pissed, because I was hosting, and I had high hopes for this thing. And I saw this one kid. Him and his buddies were throwing each other around, like literally, grabbing each other, throwing each other around, having fun. But this one kid took his buddy and threw him into an old lady, and he knocked her over. And I just kind of lost it. And I went over to him, and I grabbed the kid, and I started screaming at him. I wasn't swinging, I'm pointing and screaming. Next thing I know, I'm out in front of the school. There's at least 7 of them and they're just taking turns on me, and they're
Right.
just beating the shit out of me.
Oh,
So-
hitting you.
Yeah. Oh. Well, that was later. Hitting me was the foreplay.
It's how I got out of being hit. Just let me suck your cocks.
They're like, okay. But the reason I bring this up because this girl Kim, who was like one of the hottest girls in our class, wasn't a bitch, but she was almost like one of those untouchables. I knew her kind of well. In fact, I still know her well. She's a wonderful person, but even for me, I knew her, but she still to me was like on another level.
Right.
And New York girl who's watching, her brother was dating Kim at the time, and I didn't know him. He was a popular guy, but I didn't know him all that well. But I'm getting my ass kicked by these 7 guys, and all of a sudden there's Kim and New York girl's brother throwing these guys off of me.
Right.
And so it was like a similar thing, like oh, I didn't even know this girl knew me that well that she would want to protect my ass.
Right.
You know, and I was like, oh.
Well, that's like there's always like I've become friends because those are the best people to be in the back of the room talking shit about everybody else with.
Right.
Like, and there is like this layer of protection because if anybody's gonna like you're joking with her, and like if somebody overhears it and gets all pissed off, they ain't going through. Right? Like nobody wants to deal with not just Tony. I'm talking about like this is. There have been a series of women through my life, girls and women through my life that they're just very good friends. They're like these have been my most purely platonic relationships.
Right. Yes.
Are
absolutely.
with these people. They're not interested in me like
Right.
in that sexual way. I am not interested in them. We just fucking connect.
Mm-hmm.
I connect with bitches, is what I'm saying, and they're awesome.
There's a bumper sticker.
No, I gotta step up my merch game. It's a shout out to Billy Geyer.
Speaking of women, so what's going on? People have been posting like National Women's Day stuff.
It was international. This is very funny. And actually, speaking of Carla posted one of my favorite memes of all time, which was it's a graph, like a Google Analytics thing of showing search words. Mm-hmm. And their frequency, and the search word is International Men's Day, and that every year on International Women's Day, it fucking skyrockets. People searching for International Men's Day.
That's funny.
I mean, if you want to talk, like, I know people don't like, it makes them uncomfortable, some of the concepts of woke, some of the concepts of cancel culture. But if you cannot look at something like that and understand that there is a societal level problem
Right.
with how a certain group looks at themselves,
Right.
and you don't look at that and say, there's a fucking problem. Like, why would you care? Like, it's funny, like, all these international, I never think to myself, like, well, when's Andy Day? Like,
Right,
when's the White Guy Day? When's White History Month? When's that, is that like the, I don't know why I don't think of those things, because I don't fucking care.
Right. Yes.
Like,
I'm with you.
And I'm, you know what? If somebody is happy about, like, and I'm talking about like a black person happy for Black History Month, that makes me happy.
Right.
Because I want other people to be happy. So if you're a white person who's unhappy with Black History Month, go fuck yourself. Because it's not about you. So then just keep going about your daily life.
Right. Right. It has no bearing on you whatsoever.
You're not going, no, you don't have to like go to an event.
Right.
Or something like that. I do have a joke about how on St. Patrick's Day everybody wants to be Irish, or
Yes.
they pretend to be Irish, or they say, St. Patrick was a Roman citizen, ergo he was Italian, which is horseshit. He was Welsh, but at that time the Roman Empire did extend into Britannica, as it was known. And but like, I'm like, I wonder if it's ever going to be like Juneteenth and everybody's like going around trying to act black.
Well, that's pretty much what Fremder just said.
I figured.
Yeah. But I'm bringing up this Women's Day Because is it today or was it yesterday?
No, it was like Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, was it that long ago?
Yeah. But the thing is like with the echo chamber of Facebook, with people not like catching up until a certain point, they're like, "Oh, I guess it's International Women's Day today," and it's like, no, that was a few days ago, pal.
All right, but here's my question.
We are in Women's History Month, though.
Right?
Yeah.
But I looked on, and I'm not saying this is the end all, but I looked at Wikipedia. Wikipedia says International Women's Day. It hurt. According to Wikipedia, International Women's Day is August 9th.
Is it? I don't fucking know. People, because it's the outrage machine. It's a combination of things, right? There are people that are outraged, like, and they might see a post from some place or something, and maybe that's national. Is it national?
Oh, maybe it's national.
That's like that.
You know what? You're probably right. Actually, yeah. You know what? I even wrote National Women's Day. So this was
international, and that's actually.
All right. How many days do they need? The International Women's Day, National Women's Day, and Mother's Day.
Wow.
Not to mention their individual birthdays. How many days do these women need?
Wow. The
That's
views
Christmas.
and opinions expressed by Tony Walker are not necessarily.
Yeah, when is International Men's Day?
November 19th. It's on that meme.
Oh, and you know that because it's close to your birthday.
Well, it is close to my birthday, but it's a Sagittarius, apparently.
Oh.
Not a Scorpio like me.
So this Sunday is
Sunday.
our 5th anniversary, but it's also the day we got to turn the clocks.
Domingo.
That's pretty good. It's also the day we got to turn the clocks forward. Turning clocks forward suck because you lose an hour of sleep.
True.
But it's good because then it's longer days, which I love. And supposedly this is it, right? This is the last time we're turning.
No, not necessarily.
No, have they changed their minds?
No. The thing is, it was passed by the Senate.
Yeah,
it was not. It has not been taken up by the House. Matter of fact, that would be a very good thing to write to your congressman.
Yeah.
And get them to vote on this and just get it out of the fucking way.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem under previous
administrations,
speakerships.
Okay.
That and I'll flat out say Nancy Pelosi said that they had better things to be focusing on, and I agree. But let's do the things we can do. Mm-hmm. And I think this is something that is universally there. I have never run into somebody, nor have I seen anybody online complain about daylight savings time.
I have.
They complain about regular time. It's regular time that they're complaining about, which is what we're in right now. Daylight savings time is the time everybody wants to be in.
Right. Okay. Yes. I take back what I said.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that's
yes.
I use my words very carefully here because a lot of people, they got to get rid of daylight savings time. No, they need to adopt daylight savings time as standard time.
That's right.
Because what we don't want is what happens in the winter.
Right.
And we are an technologically advanced enough society. Listen, Ben Franklin, one of my favorite fucking founding fathers. And he's the one who really was the biggest proponent in America about adopting daylight savings time.
Right.
But the time has passed. Like we ain't using candles to light shit.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that.
And to enhance your intelligent point, because I never have any.
Oh, you're enhancing my point? Oh, do tell.
I'm not. I have no. The other night we had Flip Tracks Radio on, and Tom Sanfilippo is the host.
Great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. His guest looked just like Ben Franklin.
He looks like somebody who would have a friend who looked like Ben Franklin. Right? Like I'm not surprised at all.
So I'm trying to find it right now.
Oh, well, I'll fill in the space.
So again, you're saying something intelligent. I'm just like, hey, this guy looked like Ben Franklin.
No, that's where everybody's brain should go to. If that guy super looks like fucking Ben Franklin. I love that.
I'm going to get my ass kicked again.
I wish he was my friend.
The guy's a deadhead. He's like...
I'm sure. Dude, if Ben Franklin was alive right now...
He'd be a deadhead?
He'd be a huge deadhead. He'd be like, the world hasn't been the same since Jerry died. Or whatever those fucking people say. I don't know. I don't like dead. I don't like the dead, so I don't really hang out with too many deadheads.
So anyway, yeah, turn the clocks forward. Spring is coming, baby. Very excited. So I saw it this morning. Here are some quick tips to prepare yourself for the upcoming weekend. See, it's just that. A fact that we have to
Smoke
prepare.
weed.
Right.
Hey, smoke weed every day.
Don't start with a sleep debt. Ensure that you, and if you're a parent, your child, get adequate sleep regularly, especially leading up to the time change each year.
See, this sounds like an Air Force thing where it's like security now, training first. You know, like everything is like got to be the most important thing. It's like, oh no, you should always be sleep, but definitely make sure you're still doing what we're saying you should do all the time.
But I think the basic message of this article is don't be a pussy. Sleep regularly leading up to the time change. Earlier to bed and to rise. Going to bed, and for parents, putting the kids to bed 15 to 20 minutes earlier each night in the week before the time change is ideal. Having an earlier wake-up time can help you get to sleep earlier. Mm-hmm. Try to wake up an hour earlier than is customary on Saturday, the day before the time change. If you aren't able to make changes to your sleep schedule in advance, then keep a very consistent wake time on weekdays as well as weekends to adjust to the time change more easily.
Is that your stomach?
That was my stomach. That was not a fart. That was my stomach.
No, it sounded like a stomach sound, but I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And I ate.
Something.
I did. I was eating breakfast when you got here this morning.
Eat a dick.
But you're the only one.
I mean, if I have to. For science.
Use light to your advantage. Light is the strongest cue for adjusting the internal body clock.
Circadian rhythms like a motherfucker.
This is a sentence I never thought I'd ever hear.
You're welcome.
Expose yourself to bright light upon waking as you start.
I expose myself, whether it's bright light, dim light, anything. I use every chance,
in
every
the dark,
opportunity
that's right.
to expose myself.
Because you start getting up earlier in the week.
Yeah, you do.
This resets your internal clock in the right direction. If you live in a place where natural light is limited in the morning after clocks change, use bright artificial light to signal your body clock to wake up earlier. As the season progresses, this will be less of an issue as the sun rises earlier in the day. At night, minimize exposure to bright light, and especially the blue light emitted by the screens of electronic media. This light exposure late in the day can be enough to shift your body rhythm and signal your internal clock to wake up later the next day. If devices permit, set their screens to dim and emit less blue light in the evening.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
There's still more to that.
You know what? I'll just do what I do normally, which is not anything that's on that list.
Right, and just close my eyes and go to sleep. There's actually more here regarding light, but I'm skipping it because I've had enough of that already. Carefully plan day and evening activities. The night before the time change, set yourself up for a good night's sleep by incorporating relaxing activities that can help you wind down, such as reading a book or meditating, or going to the red zone.
Yeah, wings, motherfucker.
Incorporate exercise in the morning or early in the day. Take a walk, even if it's just around the house or your office during the day. Pay more attention to what you eat and drink this week. Consider starting with a protein-heavy breakfast.
Yeah. A protein-heavy lunch, followed by a whole protein-filled dinner and a protein-filled snack right before bedtime.
I couldn't even get through the sentence. As soon as I saw protein, I was like, oh, shit.
If anybody has any question, I mean jizz. When I say protein, I'm talking about jizz. Go on.
Yeah, you need the protein-heavy breakfast, and sleep deprivation can increase appetite and craving for high carbohydrate foods and sugars.
And the only way to solve that is through a heavy protein intake through the mouth.
See that? It's a matter of health. Stop using caffeine after noon. Consuming coffee, tea, cola, chocolate, and other sources of caffeine too late in the day can lead to trouble falling asleep and can even disrupt sleep. Adults, decline that wine at bedtime. Wine and other kinds of alcohol also disturb sleep. All right, and then the last thing is be especially gentle with yourself and kids. Are you gentle with yourself?
Never.
But with kids, what the... If you're a parent or a caregiver...
Do you know how hard it is to choke yourself while you're jerking off?
That's not being gentle.
No, it's not.
So be
I
nice.
have to
Yeah.
be.
So it's just a gentle jerk.
Yeah, it's like tickling yourself. You can't tickle yourself. You can't choke yourself either. Or lick your elbow. There's a lot. I'm just saying. For springing forward.
Try to be patient with your kids as they adjust to new times. Sleep deprivation affects the entire family. Some kids have a harder time adjusting to the time change.
Smack them harder.
Yes. Well, yeah, you may notice more frequent meltdowns. All right, well, you fix that with a smack.
Oh, that's my daughter just fucking melting down about going to band. I hate it.
It causes frequent meltdowns and loss of attention and focus. All fixed by a good slap, in my opinion.
A right good slap to the face.
Set aside more quiet, electronic media-free time in the evening. Consider a brief, 20 minutes or so, nap in the early afternoon for younger children who are having a difficult time dealing with this change. Are you kidding me? Prioritizing sleep pays off in the short term and over the years. A good night's sleep is a necessary ingredient for a productive and fulfilling day. Toughen up.
The corporate overlords definitely
Yes.
ordered that article to be.
Absolutely right.
I do like that last Friday, by the way. Something I noticed was that I don't always look over at your notes, but sometimes it's weird because you look down and I go to look at you and so then I look down too because it's just a weird.
Well, it's not private. You're allowed to look.
No, I know,
it's
but
not top secret.
I thought it was funny that you chose not to bring up the Kiss going on their last tour with me last Friday because it was on your notes, and I'm
right.
And I even thought to myself, I'm looking at it and I go, he better not fucking ask me about Kiss because I fucking hate Kiss.
Oh, do you? So I didn't know that.
Well, and it's funny because not that I hate them. I had this conversation with Billy at the mic on Monday where it's I don't hate Kiss. I just don't like Kiss.
Okay.
They've got some good songs.
Yeah, sure.
But
they seem like assholes as people.
Well, they were interviewed by Howard Stern last week.
Yeah, right. I saw some of that
last week, and my favorite thing, Paul Stanley. Was it Paul Stanley? Was it? Yeah, it was because I can never keep track of who got kicked out of the band and who's still in it.
Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons are the only two main.
Now, yeah, the original.
Right. They've been through every incarnation.
And I just thought it was so funny that Paul Stanley was we want to make sure that when you meet a fan, that's really important. That's you take the time and whatever. Yeah, because you charged him $10,000.
Yep.
Of course you're gonna fucking because you're actually fiduciarily responsible for fucking giving them their money's worth.
Yep.
It blows my mind. But they're everything has Kiss in it. If I'm not mistaken, the New York Dolls were a band before Kiss was a fucking band. And the New York Dolls, all of that shit, yes, Kiss took it to another level.
Yes.
With money.
Yeah.
But the New York Dolls were doing all that shit way before Kiss was. I don't want to I'm so sick of hearing whoa, the DNA is everywhere. Yeah. Well, it's the New York Dolls. It's a fucking punk group. How about that?
As a music guy, that is one of the issues I have with these bands. There's a handful of bands, if you were in the Beatles or one of those bands, most bands did not change the world.
Correct.
Did they provide good times? Does all music, music is great because it doesn't see race or color or gender. It just, you can go to a concert and see all different types of people around you, and you're all one. You're all enjoying yourselves, and you're there for the love of music, and that's a great thing. But most of these bands act like they changed the world.
And Don, I know that Kiss says that, but when other people are stroking them, they don't. They just say Kiss did this, Kiss did that.
Don is saying Kiss said that they were inspired by the New York Dolls, and Kiss credits the Dolls and Alice Cooper for their look and style.
Yes, they have said that there were influences, but to me, the New York Dolls have I don't know. I look at Kiss and I'm I have no clue what it is about them that's the thing that got all of these supposedly straight dudes put on makeup and platform shoes and whatnot and tease their hair out.
Well, I think it's because of the whole spectacle.
No, and I get it.
If it wasn't for the blood and the whole their whole persona.
And
like, I mean, look at the New York Dolls. I mean, most people, unless you're really into music,
right?
Most people don't know who they
See,
are.
I don't even think that I'm particularly that into music. I just like what I like and just stick with it.
You have to be into music to know who the New York Dolls are. They're not. Most people do not know who they are.
With hot.
Oh, see, but that's not even them. That's Poindexter.
I know who was
same guy, but see, you just proved my point.
It's
fucker.
always that's always my favorite thing. Yeah, New York Dolls. They did that song "Hot." People get so angry when they're like into that kind of music.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a geek like that too. People they'll talk about like Land of Confusion. I love that Phil Collins song. No, it's Genesis. Phil Collins was in Genesis. It's not a Phil Collins song.
Hot sun. Beaten down.
I love that song by Phil Collins.
My
No,
feet
Genesis.
Just walking around. Love that. We did a lip sync. I was a camp counselor, and we had late night one night per summer.
Yeah, you did.
For each group.
Yeah,
and they had ice cream sundaes, and but then there was like a talent show kind of thing, and me and the guys I was in the group with, we lip synced to "I Can't Dance."
When Elio was the first time he ever worked with Mike Rutherford, who was in Genesis and Mike and the Mechanics,
I'm familiar
for all of you old people like us, Elio came to me. He knew I was a big fan, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't know what it was a charity event. Elio and his band were the house band, and Rutherford is one of the guests, and each guest plays like one or two of their songs. So he's like, what? And he didn't know much of Mike Rutherford's music. So he said, what songs do you think I'm going to have to learn? Because I like to be prepared, even if I learn 3 songs that I don't need, but at least I have them in case.
Right.
And I called it. I said, he's going to ask for I Can't Dance. I said, that'll be number 1. He's like, really? I go, yeah.
It's a great song. It's got such a groove to it.
And that was it. That was the song he asked for, and that was the only song he asked for.
I wonder if that's ever been sampled in like in rap music, like that bass line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably.
And some of the percussion stuff.
Don Sill is booing you.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Then he says, let's see. For the record, I am not a fan of Gene Simmons. I think he's an ass clown and in and out of fake up. But he's with Shannon Tweed, and that's all I care about.
And like I will not begrudge that they have some good songs.
Oh, they do. They're a greatest hits band as far as I'm concerned.
Right. They
like, have a lot of crap.
They're kind of like the Eagles in that way.
Bite your tongue, Andy Plajanos.
No, because your average fucking person only knows.
Unfortunately,
the Eagles' greatest.
But they don't know what they're missing.
No, all that other shit sounds like a pale echo of one of their greatest hits. Like. Because it's as an artist, you're moving towards something. We talk about this all the time, Billy and I, about writing jokes that are in a certain style. Like I've always wanted a joke that does that, and so you start trying stuff out,
right?
And then hopefully, eventually, you get to something that's like fucking hilarious that kills. That's in that style. Musicians, it's the same thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They're trying to write a song I want this to happen.
Right.
And they, it's good enough to put on an album, I guess. Like, they're not 100% happy because they keep working it, and then all of a sudden they get it. And...
Yep.
But, yeah, the Eagles, Kiss...
Eagles have great album cuts.
I think who else is sort of, like, in that, like... Because, like, it's funny because somebody would say that... If somebody would say that about the Beatles... You'd go, yeah, they are the greatest hits, a greatest hits kind of band. All of their songs are the greatest hits,
But all right, but that's a perfect example. I mean, even the Beatles had a few things like I'm not gonna sit here and play a casual fan. I'm not gonna sit here and play Revolution 9 for them,
which we were actually doing earlier.
But I personally love that. It's so weird and bizarre. And such a change of pace. I love that. You know what? I take that back. I love it in that context of the album that it's in.
Yes.
Like, but I wouldn't sit there and play it by itself. Like, oh, I'm in the mood to hear Revolution 9. Like, no, all these great songs have been playing on this White Album, and then it caps off with that, and then it finishes off with this beautiful orchestrated Goodnight song. I just like the placement of it. I love, how it fits in with that album.
Even at the end of Sgt. Pepper's, what's that? A Day in a Life. Like what they do with that song is insanity.
Right.
Basically, they nest 2 other songs inside of
Well, that whole medley at the end of Abbey Road's the same thing. It's just snippets of songs that they couldn't finish. They figured out a way to put them all together.
A pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say. Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl. It changes from day to day. I want to tell her I love her a lot, but I gotta get a belly full of wine. Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl. Someday I'm gonna make her mine.
Oh yeah.
Someday I'm gonna make her mine.
The Beatles credit Little Richard and Chuck Berry for their sound. That is correct.
Oh, Beatles in demon makeup would be so fucking cool.
Well, the Beatles, they kind of started that too. I mean, they made that album cover where they're chopping up the babies and the meat, and that album cover got banned. Like, that's badass. And Gene Simmons, Kiss is just a very well run business.
That's that's why I don't want to ever begrudge anybody a career in music or in any of the arts, because it's almost impossible. And especially to have that level of success. I'm just like, I look at all the suburban white dudes that I grew up with who, like, I think they would suck Gene Simmons' dick if it was offered to them.
God, what's the name of that one song? God Gave Us Rock and Roll? That has got to be one of the worst songs by anybody ever.
It's a very good anthemy, like everybody could be drunk and sing along to. Like I can see the positives but it's like they're not doing anything that's like, oh my God.
Did you ever see their movie?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's so bad.
Okay, the only time I've ever seen them on any kind of fucking anything was the Paul Lynde Halloween special from like 1977 or some shit.
Well,
like
the movie was right around the same time. Their movie.
Was it?
What the hell was the name? Don, you know the name. What's the name of the movie? But Ace Frehley was so high during the making of this movie that they took his lines away, and they made it where he's an alien. So every line he had was just. I swear to God, and throughout the whole movie, that's Ace Frehley. Every time the close-up, you just see him.
Like, I thought it was cool what they did, like with comic books back in the day.
Sure.
Like they have. I'm not saying they don't have anything offered.
Kiss meets the Phantom. Yeah, it is something like that. Kiss meets the Phantom. I don't know who this is. Should we?
It's the anniversary.
Hello, this is Online Visibility Group calling with an urgent message. Your Google listing has been flagged for review.
Oh, no.
If you are the business owner, press 1 now to verify your business with Google.
Okay. Usually they don't call that line.
Well, that was worth it.
Yeah, the only time I saw Kiss, I just mentioned it the other day. That's what I did. I brought up the Kiss thing with Jules on Monday. That's what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
She was
and that's
nice
why I saw that,
guitar.
because I'm like, oh, that gold brickin' motherfucker waited till Monday.
Well, I figured because she's into music a little bit, and so we never got to it.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I'll save this for Jules on Monday. But of course, with Jules, it was just like, no, I'm kidding. No, she brought the guitar.
No, she's probably not fucking watching. So
no, actually, she does watch regular. She'll come to you all the time. Remember when you said this? Like, oh, I'm only teasing. My buddy, when we saw Kiss at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we were there when they got inducted. It's the only time I've ever seen them live, and of course they didn't even play.
Right.
But it was really funny. A buddy of mine. So Kiss comes up to the stage, and they're taking their bows, and each one gives their speech. So Paul Stanley comes up. He's walking up towards the mic. In our little area of the arena, just had one of those moments where it just kind of got quiet for a second. And so my buddy said something, and it just said it at the right time. And he goes, that Paul Stanley, he's so pretty. like this whole, 2 or 3 sections where, and I was crying. I was laughing so hard. It was really funny. But yeah, they are a bunch of douches. But I give them credit. I mean, they've turned everything they can possibly turn into money. Kiss comic books, Kiss money, Kiss food, Kiss this, Kiss that. And even and I think we've even talked about it at the time when it came out. A few years ago, Gene Simmons released this thing called The Vault, where it was literally a vault.
Right.
And it was all unreleased recordings of his. Like, there was something him and Bob Dylan did together.
Right.
There were 3 songs that he did that he recorded with Van Halen. Bunch of, like demos, just a bunch of stuff. And you could, if you buy it, I mean, the thing cost, I think, was $15,000.
Oh, Jesus.
It was like 50 CDs or something, but he hand delivered it. So that's why you were paying $15,000. So you could order it in any parts of the world.
Right.
And he set up a schedule. Okay, if you bought it, if you're from Hicksville and you bought it I'm going to be on Long Island in May. So,
right.
We'll figure out a day and I'm going to deliver it in May. If you ordered it in California, well, I'm in California this week. So I'll be delivering, But I thought that was genius.
Right.
$15,000 and, Gene Simmons is coming to your house. And, you get 50 friends to, I don't know, you all split it, have Gene. But Gene, be sure to bring Shannon with you.
Shannon Tweed.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I remember the softcore porn
Yep.
movies on Skinamax.
Couldn't tell you a single title of a movie she made, but didn't matter.
Shit, I just see her in my mind's eye.
They put their blood in the ink for the comic book, says Don. Is that right? Really?
I don't know if that's if that may be
That's
true
an urban legend?
or an urban legend, but I would, whatever.
My buddy Larry Russell, who's been on this show, he was Billy Joel's very first bass player, and he's done some stuff with Elio, so he's been on here once or twice. I got to get him to do I got to talk to him. Sometimes he watches. Larry, if you're watching, I got to do a show with Larry. Larry worked with Billy Joel. He worked with Kiss in the early days before they ever had makeup.
Right.
And he still works with Ace Frehley regularly. He knew Judy Garland. This guy, he's worked with a ton of people. He toured with Godspell. He must have great stories. So, and he was just posting pictures the other day of. He posted this one picture of Ace Frehley, and Ace signed it. He wrote to Larry, "Let's get together soon and get drunk."
Nice.
So there you go. Wow. We went over today.
Yeah, we did. We could go over every week, but we got shit to do because we got fucking lives.
All right. So, that's what happens when we're celebrating our 5th anniversary. Lots to talk about.
Yeah.
There you go. So,
Fucking A. Fuck
Don,
this.
and Don actually even, I mentioned Chris Monty next week and Jackson Gillies and Richie Byrne. Don, I think, is either going to try to come in next week or do a video or something. I forget what you said, but we're working on it. Kiss sucks that much that you guys have to talk about it for an hour and a half, says Fremder. All right, well, next Friday we'll talk about how your music sucks.
That's because we have microphones and you don't.
Right. I'm only joking. Your music's good, and I've told you that. All right. So we're out of here. So don't forget Donversations tonight at 8 o'clock. Don will be talking to Andy's pal, Joe Winchell, where I will tell you they do talk about you. They talk about Andy. No green room this week. I can't do it this week. My daughter's having some friends over tomorrow night because Monday is her birthday.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be talking about her on Monday for sure.
Cool.
Don says he's going to try and come in sometime next week. That would be awesome. Any day, Don. You know that. Pick it any day. I'll be here except Wednesday, of course. So yeah, Donversations tonight, and then that's it. We'll be back here on Monday. I think Richie Byrne is going to be here with me on Monday. I'm pretty sure. So, but who knows? You never know. So, all right. So with that, we're out of here. Enjoy your weekend. Because Gina asked for it, I'm going to play the Sally video again. So, all right. We'll see you guys later. See ya. Peace.
Traps for troubadour.
Hey there, this is Hershey from Hershey and the Keith Show.
5 years of the Knock 'em Dead comedy song Govs, man. 5 years. What a ride. A lot of people in and out. A lot of craziness. What the hell was that?
I was in and out. I was in and out.
Sally's here. She wants to, I asked her if she wanted to make a video. Actually, you know what? The truth is, New York Girl. You know who that is. I'll tell you later. You forgot already. New York Girl suggested that we get Sally on video because we talked about the 5-year anniversary.
New York Girl?
I'll tell you after we get off the air.
I have no patience.
So we were talking on the show the other day about how it's the 5 years are coming up, and it was suggested that I was saying, we would get maybe people that have been on the show in the past to come in and hang out. And I said, I would love to have Sally come, but she has a full-time job. She would never be able to come in. So New York Girl said, we'll get a video of her. So I just asked Sally just now if she wanted to do a video.
I said, heck yeah.
So there she is. There's Sally.
No, actually, I said, I don't know, do I look stupid?
And I said, no. I'm going to say thank you. For most of the 5 years, Sally was with us. And the show was good as it was, mainly for you.
No, come on.
And I thank you. And
5 years. That's a long time.
it is, yeah. I'm the only idiot that's still going. Everybody else smartened
You're
up
the
and
best
moved on.
idiot for 5 years.
Thank you for being a big part of it, and I'm glad we could be here now
Yeah.
and have a laugh.
Yeah.
And thank you guys. And I'll shut up now and let you say what.
Oh, I have
Did you
to say
did you
something?
want? You don't have to. If you don't
Oh,
want.
yeah. Congratulations to Knock 'em Dead Comedy for sticking it out for 5 long years.
Sticking it
Sometimes,
out.
actually, when I think about it, when I think about all the people we interviewed, like I'll be talking to people and I'm like, oh yeah, we interviewed some guy from Chicago. Oh yeah, it's
Oh, the band Chicago. Yes.
amazing, you know?
Oh yeah, members of the band Chicago, members of the Sopranos.
We've had some pretty freaking cool interviews.
We've
Yeah.
had some cool interviews. We've just had good times, whether they're big time interviews or just friends, whoever. Just a lot of great times.
We had a lot of people that have like stuck with us because I don't know if I would want to listen to us, and they did. So thank you for supporting us always.
So yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
And we talk about you a lot. We miss you. And again, thank you for being there for the bulk of 5 years. As for the show itself, I hope I can carry it. I'd like to carry it. I'd like to keep it going. So thank all you guys for everything.